We're talking about like finding God's will or God's purpose for your life too in this episode. Just short, direct answer. Do you believe everybody has a purpose, or rather, a reason why they exist?
Yeah, and I think it's actually simpler than what people think. A lot of times when people think of what is God's will for my life, it's, do I become a musician, a pastor, or priest? Do I take this job? Do I marry this person? And, what is this purpose for my life? What am I supposed to become? St. Ignatius lays out this idea that we all have one purpose, and it's the same purpose. And it's to praise, reverence, and serve God. Mm-hmm. Everything else we do, from what job we have to what vocation we serve in, how we help the church, what do we do with our free time, is all towards that goal. So that we don't have to think about what is my career going to be or what is my vocation. Really, it's which ways can I serve God? Which ways can I praise and reverence him the best? And if you keep everything in that focus, the rest of it starts to not matter as much.
Yeah, I love that. You have kids, Chad, right?
Yep.
How many kids do you have, by the way?
4.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have you guys watched the recent Pixar movie, The Soul?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was, a bit intimidating to answer some of those questions with the kids afterwards that, talked about some really deep subjects for the kids, and they're like, Daddy. Oh, I was not ready for that.
Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't think about, because I was thinking of Inside Out, right? And I was kind of going to compare it to that, but it was totally different. And my kids liked Inside Out. I was like, I wonder if this is pretty deep for them to think about. But one of the interesting things I found in the movie is they depict this idea, right? As they would say that the sparks people have in their lives, or these points of inspiration, they're not to be confused with the purpose of a soul.
Right.
And I found it a really interesting thing that seemed pretty applicable to this conversation of like, well, is there something, you often hear people say, I was made to do this, or I am made to, this is what I was made for. And that's all they can think about. That's all they go out and do, especially in younger years. What do you make of it? Do all souls have a purpose in that specific, meaning I know you mentioned Ignatius and doing, to love, serve God but is there a vocation, a thing that you were made to do, and that should be like what your relentless pursuit is after? I'm just kind of curious what you make of that as a spiritual director.
I actually, one of the great parts about that movie is not to give any spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, but the fact that once he finally attained his goal, it didn't give him the joy that he thought it was, that it didn't really give him that sense of satisfaction. All of a sudden he reached that goal and he felt just as empty as he did the day before. And we've probably all felt that way at times, to where you've got some big goal in your life and you finally get there and you celebrate it for 2.5 minutes. And then you move right on to the next thing and realize, okay, what now? And I think that's really the thing, is that when we set these earthly goals, we're going to get earthly joy out of it. It's a temporary, fleeting thing. We can't put our stock into it. And that's why, to me, letting go of some of that and realizing that, God's going to call us to a lot of different things throughout life. If you look at my life, there was a period where I spent time in the military. I felt called to that. There was time that I was called to be a writer and help people go through RCIA. I did that for a few years and helped a lot of people. But then I was called to spend time and really focus on my family, much to my chagrin. Part of me wanted to stay with, ministry and to keep moving forward with it. But I knew that God was calling me to stay home for a while and to help take care of what we needed to here. And once I got a little bit older, now I felt God calling me again. And so I don't think that I was lost for those 7 years. I think that was God preparing me for what I needed to have in order to start this next phase of my journey.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out this clip from the Practical Theism podcast. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to check out the full episode, you can do so by finding it on our YouTube channel. Definitely consider subscribing and ringing that little bell so you can continue to get updates and notifications when we release new episodes and new clips just like this one. I hope to see you soon.